on his reign?
Yeah, Sanjana, it's great to be chatting to you. Yeah, it's an incredible thing to see what Justin Langer has been able to achieve as a coach of the Australian cricket team from the first time that he got appointed to sort of right the ship and point the ship in the right direction that had obviously been moving in the right direction after the South African ball tampering issue. For him to be able to redirect everyone and lead from the front and sort of really bring the Cricket Australia values back into really exactly what it meant to play for Australia. He did an incredible job to know that the success that he had as a coach, to be able to be a part of leading the team and the resurrection into them winning the T20 World Cup for the first time. There'd been a lot of tries beforehand and the team wasn't able to get across the line. To be able to win the most recent Ashes series 4-0 here at home, it's an incredible achievement as a coach. And I know it is always very challenging for a coach to be able to do the Australian job across all formats for a long period of time. And I think 4 years is pushing the limit anyway. But Justin as a coach, he did a brilliant job at a time where Australian cricket really needed someone to be able to really come in and pull back everyone around, I suppose, the team at that time to really instill the fabric of the baggy green. And that's exactly what Justin Langer did incredibly well.
From your experience, what works best from a coaching perspective with this Australian setup?
From my perspective, with my experiences and everything around it, the coach that really has the most success and longevity of long success is a coach who knows how to be able to, most importantly, get the best out of the individuals and also creates an environment that there's already, as individuals, you know there's a lot of pressure riding on every single time you go to play for your country. You know you're fully exposed, you're in battle mode. If you make a mistake, it can be at the wrong time. It means that you can sort of live with it for the rest of your life. So the coach that, for me, that does the best and creates the best environment is one who really tries to take the pressure away from the environment. Because everyone, without talking about it, without really having to sort of bring it to the front, everyone knows that there's a lot of pressure and expectation on the individuals and the team as well. So Justin Langer, from my perspective, he certainly did a great job of making sure everyone knew the expectations to play for the Australian cricket team. And then the biggest challenge is always creating an environment to make sure that everyone feels, they don't feel the pressure. There's enough pressure as it is, and they're able to desensitise the environment, because when everyone plays at their best, one, the environment is incredibly enjoyable. There's not excessive pressure. Everyone's working as hard as they can, pushing the limits of their skill set, but also enjoying every moment of it as well. Because in the end, when you have the chance to be able to play for your country, it is a dream come true for everyone. And you want to make sure that the environment allows everyone to really enjoy that experience as well. Because I know from my experience being in the Australian team at certain times, when things started to sort of go a little awry, it certainly feels very different to living your dream. So you always want to be able to try and create an environment where everyone is very much enjoying themselves, but also, most importantly, pushing the limits how good they can be, because that's what you want to do in life. You want to be as successful as you possibly can, but you want to make sure you're having a great time along with it as well.
Let's talk about the man in form, Pat Cummins. What a spectacular first summer he's had as a Test captain. What are your thoughts about the way he's handled himself through this change of reign, and also as skipper?
Pat Cummins, he is just, gosh, for me, he's the ultimate. The way he leads, just the way he's taken over the leadership of the Test team in an Ashes series, the highest pressure sort of Test series you can play in. He just took it in his stride, but that I didn't expect it really any other way with Pat, because he's just such a really well-balanced, level guy who knows how to lead. He's going to make the most of the resources that he's got around him as well. But even the way he was able to deal with the situation around the Justin Langer, like he was in a no-win situation at all in the lead up to Justin Langer handing in his resignation, because if he commented either way, it was never going to look good. But the way he handled it after things had settled down and Justin Langer had resigned, he just handled it so incredibly well, because he's so personable. He just comes across and is very honest and is very endearing to the public and to his teammates. So from that perspective, he dealt with that situation as well as he possibly could. And then what he's able to do as a leader during the Ashes series, he just took it in his stride, even after missing the second Test because of a close contact in a restaurant. Like, that could have derailed someone, but it certainly didn't for Pat. He just got on with it and continued to do a great job. So I'm just super excited for the Australian team with Pat leading the charge in particular, and this next phase of Australian cricket, because they've certainly got the talent and they've got the leadership to be able to really take this forward into an exciting period of Australian cricket.
The next 14 months for Team Australia are action packed. There's a lot of cricket going to be played, and most of it is overseas. Andrew McDonald and Darren Lehman have endorsed the idea of splitting coaches by format. Given the Australian calendar, do you think this is a good idea?
I think it's a great idea, because to be able to think that a coach can do it with all the expectations, the workload, coaching all three formats. I've never really seen it work that well when someone goes, if they're coaching all three formats, longer than 2 years. I think that's nearly a shelf life to be able to do a really good job, because as a coach, you're away from your families. It is non-stop, fully engaged in every single layer of cricket in Australia, from the board level all the way down to preparing your players and the media and everything that goes around it. So I think it's going to be a necessity for Australia to have to break up their formats with their coaches. There's some great coaches around Australia at the moment as well. Andrew McDonald being one of those. I know the players absolutely love working with him, and all the players who've worked with Andrew McDonald even before he came into the Australian team at Victoria and over in Leicester as well, all the players love working with him. So he's definitely going to be one of the coaches, I think. Trevor Bayliss, who did a brilliant job, he's done a brilliant job throughout his whole coaching career, really, taking over the English with KKR and here in New South Wales as well. So I think there's a really good chance that they will split the roles. I just think it's not sustainable if someone does every single format for a long period of time, because there's always going to be burnout. There's always going to be fatigue in the team environment, and especially now with the COVID sort of bubble and situation that's around, it provides even more sort of complexity and intensity in an environment. So the sooner Cricket Australia do break up the formats with the coaches, I think everyone's going to benefit from it.
There are a few names going around for who should be the next Australian coach. You named a few of them as well. Who do you think is the best candidate for the job?
That's a good question. Andrew McDonald definitely is a front runner, because he's been around the team. He's done a great job. The players love working with him. For me, Trevor Bayliss is just because of all of his experience. He's incredibly low key. All his experience of dealing with and coaching England and doing a great job with them. He knows the players, most of the players, very well in and around the Australian setup as well, because he coached a lot of them for New South Wales. So I love the experience of Trevor Bayliss. He's probably seen every single thing in cricket just about. So I would love to see him sort of get a great opportunity, because he's seen everything. Andrew McDonald's certainly a great coach, and he's in his early sort of career as a coach. But Trevor Bayliss has seen everything, and I suppose always, as CSK and the Chennai Super Kings always did do, they went for experience. I'd probably go with towards experience just for this interim period, for this next stage of Australian cricket, but not to say that Andrew McDonald wouldn't do a great job anyway.
Awesome. That's that. Thank you so much for joining us on the ICC review, Shane. As always, great